Once upon a time, there was a young man named David who lived in a small village at the foot of a mountain. David had heard stories about a hidden cave on the mountain, which was said to contain a great treasure. Many people in the village had tried to find the cave, but no one had ever succeeded. One day, David decided to try his luck and find the cave. He climbed up the mountain, using all of his strength and determination to make it to the top. When he finally reached the summit, he looked around, but he couldn't see any sign of the cave. He started to feel discouraged and wondered if it was all just a myth. Just as he was about to give up, he heard a voice say, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you." The voice seemed to be coming from the wind, and David knew it was a message from God. Feeling encouraged, David closed his eyes and prayed, asking for guidance to find the cave. He then opened his eyes and looked around, and to his surprise, he saw a small opening in the side of the mountain. It was the cave he had been looking for. Excited, David ran towards the cave and entered it. The cave was dark and eerie, but David could feel the presence of the treasure. He started to walk deeper into the cave, but he couldn't see anything. He stumbled over rocks and tripped over branches, but he kept going. Suddenly, he heard a voice say, "Stop." David froze in his tracks, not knowing what to expect. Then the voice spoke again, "Ask me for a torch, and I will give it to you." David remembered the message he had heard earlier, and he closed his eyes and prayed, asking God to give him a torch. When he opened his eyes, he saw a torch lying on the ground next to him. He picked it up and lit it, and suddenly the cave was illuminated. He saw that the cave was full of obstacles and traps. There were deep pits, sharp rocks, and slippery slopes. Without the torch, David would never have been able to navigate the treacherous cave. As he continued to explore the cave, he came across a room filled with treasure. It was more than he could have ever imagined: gold, silver, jewels, and ancient artifacts. But he also noticed that there were traps set up all around the room, ready to spring at any moment. Remembering the message he had heard, David asked God for guidance on how to get the treasure without setting off the traps. The answer came to him in a vision. He needed to use his intelligence and wit to disarm the traps and avoid danger. David used his wit and intelligence to navigate the traps and retrieve the treasure. He emerged from the cave with a newfound sense of purpose and a deep understanding of the importance of persistence, faith, and trust in God's plan. From that day on, David lived a life of purpose, using the treasure he had found to help those in need and spread the message of faith and hope to others. He never forgot the lesson he had learned in the cave, that by asking, seeking, and knocking, he could find the answers he needed to live a fulfilling life, full of joy and purpose.